Hello YouTube, my name is Nick, and today I have a review to do for you. I know in my last video I said that I was going to be starting a new series of sorts. I still will be doing that, and I'm kind of trying to pick some things out for it, but for now I want to do this video first because it's kind of an important album to me, and it needed to be done. I didn't think I'd be doing reviews much anymore, but this one kind of takes priority over most other things. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the new K.F.R album entitled Zero. This has yet to be put out on a physical format, and I kind of want to show something in this video so it's not just me moving my mouth and my hands making some gestures for several minutes. So I'm going to be showing you some merchandise, memorabilia that I've acquired through Maxime Tacardio or various labels that he's put things through. So I probably won't be talking about these items very much, maybe a little bit here and there because some are more special than others and some I haven't showed yet. But I'm going to focus mostly on the albums. Will be a regular review. So as I talk, I'll just be showing a bunch of random stuff. You might recognize it, you might not. Every single album that I show or something I show will be in the description as always. So let's get into this. If you don't know K.F.R, you probably haven't watched my channel very much. I've said many times, time and time again, he's probably my favorite musician right now. Very influential, groundbreaking kind of music with power electronics, dark ambient, atmospheric music, black metal, noise, what have you. So many genres that he's revitalized in these last couple years since he's been making music. And if you like evil stuff, check him out for sure. But I really loved his first album, Anti. I really liked Necro, and this new album, Zero, just blew every other evil album to ever come out of the water. It is the new benchmark of evil albums, in my opinion, and it honestly can't get much better from this point. I'm kind of hoping to see where he goes from here, because this is the third album in the trilogy that he's planned. So as far as I know, he won't be making any more music for K.F.R, but other projects probably will be continued. So I want to start with the guitar tone. One of the most crushing, ridiculous guitar tones, one of the most distorted guitar tones that you could ever imagine. I dare you at most points to pick out actual notes, because a lot of the time it's just like a swirling whirlwind tornado of sound, especially in the first part, because this is split up into three parts. Tracks 1 through 5, first part, 6 through 12, second part, and the last song, which is about 25 minutes, is the third part. And through the first part, you just get some ridiculous guitar playing. Again, it's not always the cleanest sounding, which adds to the atmosphere of this album. And even though it is so ridiculous sounding, this might be the most technically proficient Maxime has ever sounded on guitars. And some techniques that he hasn't used before you find throughout the album. There's a guest spot from a very legendary black metal artist on the song Be the Knife, and it's a very different K.F.R sounding song. It's like probably the most black metal-ish sounding song that's ever been on one of his records, and it's just a great tie-in. It's a transition of sorts for the second part of the album. The second part starts with the song Libera, and that's probably my favorite song on the album, if not one of my favorite K.F.R. songs ever. One thing I want to mention is that there are so many moments on this album that make you just want to like put your blankets over your face and hope it goes away and hide. It's so evil and so like chilling and cringy. Like him just screaming at the top of his lungs, shredding every membrane in his throat, screaming Libera. The first time I heard that, I just wanted to like cry. It was so evil. Like it was it was a moment for sure. There's a lot of those moments on this album, especially on Pour ça mon cher. I'm not a fluent French speaker, but the one moment where it's like the tingy, high pitched guitar buildup, and then like the explosions like you'd hear on this album, mixed with the high pitched like scream or squeal. It's just so uncomfortable. There's no other band in the world that can make me feel that uncomfortable. And when I hear that, I almost don't want to hear it. Like I know it's coming because I've listened to this album so many times before. I'm just like, it's the only band in the world, the only project in the world that can make me feel that way. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That's why I love it so much. I also want to mention the drums. The first part of the album has live drums by Deha again. He's been on every K.F.R. full length, I believe. I don't know if he's been on any of the splits or demos or anything, but he does a great job through this. It makes it sound a little more human at points, even though I honestly almost prefer the electronic, dark ambient noise aspect of K.F.R. to the black metal. But he gets the job done, of course. It's hard not to like that guy. So props to him for doing such a good job. And I also want to mention the program drums. A lot of the time, they're kind of pretty far back. Sometimes you can't even notice that they're there. But they add a certain rhythmic pulsation to a lot of the songs because it's kind of like maybe industrial sounding, and it just adds like a lot more oomph to it, I guess. And again, I want to mention that the electronics on this are so unique because when it comes to evil music, you get stuff like Evangelist where it's really, really thick and dense and like crushed together sounding, but K.F.R. takes a different standpoint on this to where like it's thinner sounding, but what he's using with like organs and the keyboards and whatever effects that he uses makes it so much more genuine sounding that it's what adds that cringe factor. Like on the opening song, Verminens, you get almost old school Mayhem sounding like keyboards. You'll know exactly what I mean when you listen to it if you do decide to listen to this. It's just, again, you can't describe the feeling that super evil crap gives you because I almost compare it to the brutal sense where you get like something so brutal that it just gives you the butterflies in your stomach, except maybe this time it makes you want to cry or something. But my god, there are so many memorable moments on this. Every song has something to make you remember it. But if there was one small complaint I would have with the album is maybe sometimes it does drag a little bit. Maybe some songs could be a little shorter, maybe cut entirely. But I honestly can't have any complaints about this album. This is the new benchmark evil album for me. And I also want to mention that the vocals on this album are even more ridiculous. There's some spoken word, there's screams, there's shouts, there's, all over the place. And the most important thing about this album to me is the production. His production has always been maybe my favorite mixing. My favorite album production ever is Elysian Blaze's Blood Geometry, but his production is revolutionary, in my opinion. He uses so much distance in the album, and I want to point out by saying, like, the drums, the guitar, the vocals, the synths all have like a different distance value to them when you're listening to it. If you have really good headphones, I don't know about speakers because I haven't done a speaker yet because it's not on any physical format. But like sometimes the vocals will be way out there, like another county over, and sometimes they'll be like right in your ear, and sometimes they'll be both. So it sounds like he's whispering something in your ear, but he's also screaming something in the distance. While there's like close-up guitars and far-away guitars, and the drums are far back, and it just creates this like swath of sound that I've pretty much never heard before. And I hope that I can describe it pretty well because I do want to get across how amazing he produces his albums. Over the years that I've been supporting this band, this project, I think I've come to become friends with the man. I've talked to him several times. We talk on Facebook a lot. We've talked about his work and how I support it and whatnot, and it's been a pretty big honor to me to maybe become friends with this man that I look up to. I've been a supporter since the very beginning, and the last song, Void, it's essentially the last song that K.F.R will write, and it's the longest song he's ever written. And the end of that song almost kind of makes me feel a little, feely, a little sad, because I know that it's finally over. And throughout the entire career, when you're listening to it that he's insane. Like, maybe not in real life, but when he's writing his music and he's doing his thing, he's out there. But he's always had some control, it feels like, for his music. But the song Void really makes you feel like he finally lost it, and he is just too far gone to save, and this is the end permanently. It's a pretty poetic ending. It's the swan song that this project deserved, and it's something that will be, again, the bar has been set with this album. I dare anyone to beat this, maybe take some of his pointers, make some evil music of your own. Hopefully this gets the recognition it deserves. I know he's not exactly a huge artist, he's not popular, but maybe one day people will learn to recognize his talents for what he's done, and I'm satisfied with the ending, I'll say that. So for a score, I know I say I didn't really like scores, but I've rethought it. I'm gonna give this a solid 11 out of 10. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. It honestly cannot get much deeper than this. It can't get much more intricate. I just dare you to beat it. That's all I'm gonna say. There are albums that get 10 out of 10s for their respective genres, but this gets like the highest 10 out of 10 I can possibly give. There are only a couple albums I can say that about, which I may cover soon. So I hope you got a little bit of enjoyment out of this video. I hope you go listen to this album, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. It might be a collection video, it might be the second series that I'm going to do, but regardless, I'll see you next time.